Hey guys, Matt Guzman here, back with another video, and today is going to be about how to get the Communication Merit Badge. So, this one isn't very long, it's just a lot of the requirements have A, B, C, D, but they're choices. They're not the type of requirements where it says, here, it's a simple requirement, but there's also A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Nah, you don't have to do all of them, you just have to pick one. So that's the good thing about it. So it's not too simple. You do have to work for it, but it's not hard. So this is a good merit badge. I had fun doing it. This was one of the ones that I did over at summer camp, so it was really cool to do because I was able to communicate with the other people in my group. So it all worked out in the end. But moving on to requirement 1. It says to do one of the following. For number 1, I will list all of the choices. Just keep in mind it's very long, so you have to pay attention so you don't get sidetracked. So number 1A, it says for one day, keep a log in which you describe your communication activities. My counselor said that if you were going to do that one, you need to write down what time you did any type of communication. And it doesn't have to necessarily be you communicating. You could listen to something, you could just read something, you can talk to someone, you can listen to music, anything that is using your senses to communicate with other things or other things communicating with you, you write it down and keep a log for that. So it says you keep track of the time and different ways you spend communicating, such as talking, listening, radio, podcasts, TV, reading books and media, and using any electronic communication device. And also, you need to discuss with your counselor what your log reveals about the importance of communication in your life, and think of ways to improve your communication skills. So that's 1A. Moving on to 1B. So it says, for 3 days, keep a journal of your listening experiences and identify one example of each of the following. I'll list those in a second. Discuss with your counselor what you have listened to in, journal of your listening experiences, what you have witnessed in obtaining information, a persuasive argument, appreciate or enjoying something, and understanding someone's feelings. So in those 4 categories, you're supposed to discuss with your counselor what you have listened to in each of them and keep a journal of those listening experiences. 1C says in a small group setting, meet with other scouts or with friends. Have them share personal stories about significant events in their lives that have affected them in some sort of way. So with the meeting with scouts and or friends, when you're talking to them, you take notes of the scouts' participation in a discussion and how effectively each scout communicates their story, and then report to your counselor about the differences you observed in effective communication. So not only are you observing the people next to you, you're observing everyone else that talks to see how effectively they're communicating with the group. 1D, this is the last option. List as many ways as you can think of to communicate with. For example, radios, texting, phone calls, reading books, stuff like that. And for each type of communication, discuss with your counselor an instance when that method might not be appropriate. For example, if there's someone in your house that you want to talk to, you're not going to send a letter to them from the post office or stuff. You're literally just going to walk to them and talk. However, if someone is on the other side of the world and you want to talk to them, texting would be good, but you're not going to walk all the way there to talk to them. You list a few certain instances and you explain it with your counselor. Alright, that's it for number 1. Moving on to number 2. This is also do one of the following, but there's not as many options. There's only 2 of them. So 2A, think of a creative way to describe yourself using stuff like a collage, short stories, drawings, autobiographies, stuff like that. And then using the aid you created, make a presentation to your counselor about yourself. The second option of 2B, choose a concept, product, or service in which you have great confidence in, and then build a sales plan based on its good points. Also, try to persuade the counselor to agree with, use, or buy your concept, product, or service. And then once you're done with that, after your sales talk, discuss with your counselor how persuasive you were. So there's not really a definite time length that you have to do this for. However, I think I did this on purpose. In the next requirement, number 3, it says to write a 5-minute speech and give it to a meeting of a group. They took 2B, which was the sales pitch, and 3, the 5-minute speech, and combined it. So she had us think of a product that we really like, or just a product that was around the camp area, and to give it a 5-minute speech to the group about how they'd sell it and what the qualities of that product are. So there just happened to be 2 kids riding a bicycle, and they were part of my group, so I asked them if I could use their bicycles because I've done the cycling merit badge, so I knew what I was talking about when I was trying to advertise their bicycles, and I think I did pretty well. So when you're giving the 5-minute speech, you can try to incorporate 2B into it. So I've done speeches before. One I've showed in my channel before was in my scholarship merit badge tutorial. I did the speech at this group I used to go to, and I wanted to persuade the kids there to join Boy Scouts. So I listed what I thought were key factors of scouting and why they should join it.
Troop 757, or formerly known as Boy Scouts. I've also formerly been here at Edge for 2 years ago, and I came to talk about the benefits of joining Troop 757 in Scouts BSA. So, hopefully most of you have heard about the Pine Wood Derby. Basically, you make a car from a wood block and you race it. In actuality, your dad cuts the wood and the scout leaders set up a ramp, and then your car is taken from you, never to be seen again. But that's Cub Scouts. And Scouting BSA is for boys and girls ages 11 through 17, and the Scouts themselves lead the program. The leaders will guide us, but as Scouts, we plan the meetings, engage in activities, and participate in many outings. And outings include things like shotgun shooting or hiking. The Scouting experience offers community engagement and leadership development as youth lead their own activities and work their way towards earning Scouting's highest rank, the Eagle Scout. So Scouts build character, independence, responsibility, and confidence. And most importantly, we learn from our peers, our leaders, and from ourselves. Here at Troop 757, we are mindful that people are different, so we encourage you to work at your own pace. And you can work in a safe environment while making advancements and having a lot of fun. So usually when people think of scouting, they think of camping or like tying knots, but that's not all that we do. We do things like hiking and fishing and cycling, and there's like a bunch more things we do than just camping. And while in Scouts BSA, we learn responsibility at a basic level, and we make sure that everyone has a good experience and hopefully has a lasting effect on their life. Thank you for listening, and if you have any questions or are interested, I'll be in the back of the room.
Number 4, interview someone you know fairly well, like, or respect. Listen actively to learn as much as you can about the person. Also, prepare and deliver to your counselor an introduction of the person as if they were a guest speaker. Include why the audience would want to hear this person speak. Show how you would call to invite this person to speak. So that last one, I didn't really understand it at first, but basically it's saying, I guess, how would you contact that person, figure out a way you communicate with them to get them to be the guest speaker. You can't just go up to someone and say, hey, you want to, like, do this? I don't know, you can just talk about anything. You have to, like, it's almost like you're giving your own sales pitch. Like, say you're learning about fire safety and you want to bring a fireman to be a guest speaker. You can talk to the fireman saying, hey, during my troop meeting, we're having an instructional thing on fire safety. Would really love it if you were able to come in, and just something like that where you're communicating with that person. So you show how you would call to invite that person to speak. All right, number 5, it says to attend a public meeting. Practice active listening skills and take careful notes of each point of view. And then prepare an objective report that includes all points of view that were expressed, and share this with your counselor. So this is the one I haven't done yet, but this is just something you can easily do. There are actually some examples in the official requirement book, and I'm going to put the requirements in the description like I always do, so there's examples in the description about this. But you could attend like a city hall meeting, or like something like a meeting in your school, or maybe there's like an organization in your neighborhood that does public speaking. You could probably attend one of their meetings, and just stuff like that, something like that, where it's a public meeting that you can practice those listening skills and communication skills. Moving on to number 6, it says, with your counselor's approval, develop a plan to teach a skill and or inform someone about a topic. Prepare teaching aids for your plan, carry out your plan, and with your counselor, determine whether the person has learned what you intended. So I just did something really simple, how to tie your shoe. But people usually tie their shoes with like the bunny ear method. I was teaching another method to tie your shoe, which is what I usually do. You just make one loop and then put the string over that underneath. It's complicated, but that's the point of this. You're supposed to communicate with them by having them listen to you and by showing them how to do it. So that was my plan. I taught someone another method of tying your shoe. They accepted it and it worked. So yeah. Number 7, it says to do one of the following. So this one has 4 choices again, but I'm not going to list all 4 of them. Instead, I'm just going to list this one, which is the one I did, and show you how I did it. So this one is 7A, says write to the editor of a magazine and or local newspaper to express your opinion or share information on any subject you choose. And send your message by fax, email, or regular mail. So what I did is, I'm in high school, I've mentioned that before, and high schools usually have like a magazine that they have. So the editor of the magazine just happened to be my English teacher. So we were doing an assignment in the morning where we had to give our opinion on how the magazine was being run. And then we were assigned a quick write, which is a short assignment where we made a short poem about a song or like a line from a song that really means something to us. So I made a poem, and she actually picked mine, and she offered that with my permission, she could post it in the magazine. So I typed it up, emailed it to her, and then that's when I got this paperback. And I'll show you the poem in just a second. So just a little thing before I read this, I had a couple people ask me, so just so you guys know, there's nothing wrong with me. It's just, this is just a project that I did, so there's no need to worry. But here it goes. It's called Who I Am, and it was based off the song Death of a Bachelor by Brendan Urie. And the line I chose was, Do I Look Lonely? And here's the poem. Do I look lonely? Some say I am not, most think otherwise. There's a saying that goes, what you think of yourself is what others think of you. I know I act different, because I am not like others. I do not have an explanation nor reason. I do not know what to think of myself, so maybe others don't know what to think of me. It all depends on one's view. I can act funny, act dumb, act serious, act happy, act sad, act annoying, and act exuberant. Is there a time when I won't need to act at all? What happens then? What do I do? Nothing is expected, and nothing is required. I keep to myself, and nothing has an influence on me. Only then, if I am noticed, can you truly determine my state of mind. Only then can you determine who and what I am. So, do I look lonely? And that was just a little poem I wrote for the magazine. It does sound really weird, but at the same time, if you think about it, it makes sense, and that's what I thought when I was writing it. So, yeah. I don't know about you, but that was really deep. Anyway, moving on to number 8. Plan a troop or crew court of honor, campfire program, or an interfaith worship service. If you guys have watched my past status updates, you know that I've actually done a court of honor before. I was the master of ceremonies, or the MC, where I was telling people the awards they got. I had them shake my hand as I passed them the reward. So I've already done this, but I'm doing it again with my troop because we're actually having a court of honor soon and a campfire program. So this is a way that I can have my entire troop get this requirement done. If you haven't seen that status update, it's the April one that I did. It was called Eagle in Only 2 Years, Secret Hack the Eagle Scout. And it was a video where it's the April status update, and I explained about our Court of Honor. So if you haven't already, you should probably check that out, and that link will be in the description. But anyway, you're supposed to plan one of those and have the Patrol Leaders Committee, or Patrol Leaders Council, approve it, and then write the script and prepare the program. The good thing about this is you can't just say someone's part of it and then just have them come up, say a few words, and sit down. They actually have to plan stuff and communicate with the other people, which is not a bad thing. It's a good thing because then they know how to actually plan a court of honor. They know how to speak in front of everyone and communicate to the entire troop during that court of honor or campfire service, just either or. And then you have to serve as the master of ceremonies. The last requirement, number 9, as usual, careers. Name 3 career opportunities in the field of communication. Pick one and find the education, training, and experience required for the professions. Discuss with your counselor and explain why this profession might interest you. And there you go. That's the communication merit badge, and it's really fun. I enjoyed it a lot. My counselor was really cool, and also because of scouting in school, I was able to get most of the prerequisites done. So I only have the public meeting, and that's going to be pretty fun as well. So this is a very social merit badge. Obviously, you're going to have to know how to talk to people, which is, again, not a bad thing. It's a good skill to learn. But thank you for watching my video on how to get the Communication Merit Badge. If you enjoyed it, please like it and turn on notifications on my channel, and look out for any other Merit Badge videos I have in the future, or videos in general. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!